Corey Harrison, widely known as Big Hoss, built his reputation as one of the central faces of the hit reality show Pawn Stars. From the outside, his life seemed like a success story: family business, television fame, and financial stability. But behind that image, there has always been a more complicated and darker reality. Before we continue, take 1 second to like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss more real stories like this. Corey was born in Las Vegas into a family already deeply connected to the pawn business. His father, Rick Harrison, and grandfather, Richard Benjamin Harrison, known to millions as the Old Man, were already shaping what would later become one of the most famous pawn shops in the world. For Corey, this wasn't just a family business, it was his entire world. However, his early life wasn't as stable as it may seem. His parents separated when he was just a toddler. Growing up in a broken household at such a young age can leave a lasting impact, and Corey was no exception. As his father remarried and the family expanded, Corey found himself surrounded by constant change. In that chaos, the pawn shop became his only sense of stability. By the time most kids were enjoying their childhood, Corey was already working. At a very young age, he was cleaning, organizing, and learning the trade. This wasn't a casual experience, it was real responsibility. He grew up understanding how people negotiate, how deals are made, and more importantly, how people can lie when money is involved. Over time, Corey developed a sharp eye for detail, but that didn't come without mistakes. One of his biggest early failures came when he purchased multiple fake luxury watches, costing him a significant loss. That moment changed him. Instead of giving up, he became obsessed with learning authenticity. That mistake became a turning point that shaped his future success. Alongside his work, Corey built a close friendship with Austin "Chumlee" Russell. What started as a childhood bond eventually turned into one of the most recognized partnerships on television. Their chemistry brought humor and relatability to the show, making them fan favorites. As Corey grew older, he began taking on more responsibility in the shop. He didn't follow the traditional education route and instead focused entirely on the business. Eventually, he became the manager, overseeing employees, handling operations, and making key decisions that kept the shop running. Then came the turning point that changed everything. Pawn Stars premiered. What started as a simple concept quickly exploded into a global phenomenon. The pawn shop transformed from a local business into a major tourist attraction. Fame, money, and pressure came all at once. But fame comes with its own challenges. Behind the scenes, Corey was struggling with his health. At one point, he weighed over 400 pounds. Doctors warned him about serious risks, including diabetes. That warning hit hard. Instead of ignoring it, he made a drastic decision. He underwent weight loss surgery. The transformation was massive. Within a short time, he lost a significant amount of weight. Not only did it change his appearance, but it also changed his life. He regained confidence, returned to activities he once loved, and experienced a level of freedom he hadn't felt in years. But even with success and personal growth, trouble was never far behind. In the early years of his fame, Corey was involved in a public altercation that led to his arrest. While the situation eventually faded, it revealed a pattern: moments where pressure, alcohol, or emotions led to poor decisions. At the same time, his personal life was also facing challenges. His first marriage ended after several years, with the pressures of fame and work playing a major role. His second marriage also ended quickly, despite starting with hope and excitement. While fans saw a successful businessman on screen, off camera, Corey was dealing with failed relationships, personal struggles, and the weight of constant public attention. And this was only the beginning. As the years went on, Corey Harrison's life became a mix of success and repeated controversy. While Pawn Stars continued to dominate television, his personal life seemed to spiral in unpredictable ways. One of the most serious incidents involved a DUI stop years later. Police reported signs of intoxication, while Corey denied wrongdoing. The situation became complicated, with conflicting explanations and unanswered questions. Even though the final outcome remained unclear publicly, it added another layer to his growing list of controversies. But legal trouble wasn't the only issue. Corey also faced criticism after a dispute involving a rented RV that was allegedly returned in severely damaged condition. The reported damage costs were massive, and the situation turned into a public controversy. While both sides had their own version of events, the damage to Corey's reputation was already done. At the same time, danger followed him in another form: motorcycles. Corey had multiple motorcycle accidents over the years, each one more serious than the last. Despite surviving earlier crashes, the pattern showed a willingness to take risks that could have deadly consequences. Then came one of the most devastating chapters in his life: the loss of his brother Adam. His death from a drug overdose shook the entire Harrison family. It wasn't just a tragedy, it was a painful reminder of how addiction can destroy lives, even within successful families. The emotional impact of that loss was deep. Corey had already lost his grandfather, who was not just a family member but a mentor and best friend. Losing both figures changed him in ways that fans could never fully understand. Around the same time, Pawn Stars itself began to face uncertainty. After years of success, the future of the show became unclear. Contracts ended and discussions about continuation slowed down. For Corey, this became a moment of realization. He openly admitted that he no longer wanted to play the same role he had been playing for years. He wasn't the same person anymore, and he didn't want to pretend otherwise. Instead of waiting for the show's future to be decided, he made a bold move. He walked away. Corey left Las Vegas and relocated to Mexico, choosing a completely different lifestyle. From the fast-paced world of television and business, he shifted to a calmer environment near the beach. It was a major change, both physically and mentally. He explored new business ideas, started a podcast, and tried to redefine his life outside of the pawn shop identity. But just when things seemed to be settling down, another shocking event occurred. Corey was involved in yet another motorcycle crash, this time far more severe than before. The injuries were brutal: multiple broken ribs, severe physical trauma, and a long recovery process. Photos from the hospital showed the reality of the situation. Despite trying to maintain humor, the seriousness of the injuries was clear. It was a moment that forced both him and his fans to confront the reality of how dangerous his lifestyle had become. This wasn't just another incident, it felt like a warning. Looking at Corey Harrison's journey, one question stands out. Is this a story of success or a story of someone constantly escaping consequences? From fame to controversy, from personal growth to repeated setbacks, his life has been anything but ordinary. He has built success, lost control, rebuilt himself, and faced consequences, again and again. And even today, the story doesn't feel finished, because the real question isn't what happened to Corey Harrison, it's what happens next.